Welcome, Phil, to Metallarium Pages. It's a great pleasure to talk with you about the band, about this first album, Category 7, and also more things relating to the metal world in general. So we started by asking, how are you today? How are you doing today? How is the band today? How is expectation to release this new album?
I'm good today. My voice is a little shot. We had my cover band played last night. I did 40 cover songs with, down at my bar, so the voice is gone. Forgive me for that. The band is excited. The band is really stoked on the first three videos are out and getting a lot of good reviews, and people are stoked on it. So we're really excited on people hearing our music and being, accepting of it and digging it. So we're ready to get this record out and excited for whatever all that entails.
Okay. Okay, talking about now, especially for this new album, when do you start writing songs for this new album? And all songs are completely new? Perhaps you bring these all songs from different projects. Who knows?
No, I think that we started this. We started writing music together. Me and Mike had a couple ideas that we got together on a few years ago, and so it's been a kind of a long process. I've been doing a lot of stuff with different bands filling in, and so it's been a bit of a process. Uh, you know, me and Mike threw a bunch of riffs together, and he would kind of put them all together, and I'd help with some structures and stuff like that. So they were all newer riffs. I think that was all. He might have had some older ones. I don't think so. I think these were all brought to this just independent of anything else. This is all category 7 from the beginning.
Okay, okay. So how do you feel about this new release compared to your old projects, especially when you release a new album with Kerry King? So how do you feel about this how do you feel about compare this record with a lot of productions that you released in the past?
I think they're all different. I mean, what did the Carrie record, I played solos on. I didn't write any of the music. I didn't play any rhythms on it. So it's different in that sense that this is, I wrote some of the music on this. I'm more invested with this. I've been involved with the songwriting, the structures. With the Carrie thing, I went down and spent 3 hours recording my solos, and that's all that I was involved with that recording. What other releases? The Violence release, it's different because it's a thrash record. I wrote all the music for that. Produced with the other guys, produced the record. And it was a thrash record. The songs were different. These were all guys that, I had known for a while. We did it in a studio together. So the Category 7 record was done at Mike's studio in Staten Island. Everybody went there and recorded, except for me. I did all my tracking here in my studio. So that, I mean, Machine Head Records are obviously a bigger budget, so there's a lot of, difference in that. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Now, talking about for the creation of Category 7, when was the idea of forming Category 7 born?
I was filling in for Overkill. I played a show with Overkill in New Jersey, and me and Jason was playing drums for Overkill. We went to meet our friend Corey Pierce, who played drums for God Forbid, and he worked at a bar that was close by. Mike Orlando was a friend of ours who was in the area. Hey, I'm going to come out and hang. Brought his girl Dana out, and good friends. And so we got drunk and said, hey, we have a band right here. Should we write some music? And felt like we did. We all picked what singer we wanted to approach, and it was all of us wanted John Bush. And there you go. Jason suggested Jack, and we all agreed. We all love Jack, amazing player. So there's our band.
Okay, So, talking about now, I just spoke with Mike Orlando a few months ago about the
Mhm.
meaning of the Category 7 because it's like a big tornado or cyclone about this kind of topic. So, but why do you choose? If perhaps you have other meaning about it, Mike told me. What for you?
No,
What is the meaning? Okay.
no, that's what it is. I mean, we wanted something with five in the title. I wanted Mach 5, I like speeder, but that was taken. Category 5 is, a storm. And so we wanted something with five. Nothing was sticking. Nobody liked anything that anybody else was bringing up. So category 7, Mike discovered, was like the storm that would end the world, and I feel that we all didn't hate it, and we all were like,
Mm.
I don't hate it. This is the best we have. Let's just use that. It was a long process. So we just went with it.
Okay, well, interesting. So you mentioned a few minutes ago that that you are receiving good reviews for this new album, so a lot of expectation for a lot of people. So in this aspect, how do you feel the reception of fans and the press to this new album has been so far? What have reviews been like? Do you usually read reviews or criticisms that are there online, and how do you take these reviews?
Yeah, that's been mostly positive. I'd say 98% positive. It's really, I'm floored by it that, a lot of people are really digging it, and a lot of, you know, seeing a lot of my peers, and, reading the thing that Hetfield said was fucking amazing. Um, so I read the reviews. Yeah, I read the comments. I'm interested to see what people say. And when somebody slams it, for whatever reason, I'm one of those who gets affected by that. So, um, but I get that, not every band is for every person. Nobody's going to get 100% on their review. Nobody is. So if it's mostly positive, then I'm super stoked on that, and it has been. It's been overwhelmingly positive. So super exciting.
Okay,
The
okay,
ones
now.
that kill me are the ones that kill me are the ones that are like, oh, the vocalist sucks. Everything's good except for the vocals, and you can't please everybody.
Well, that is true, completely true. So lyrically, what themes do you explore on this new album? Where does the inspiration come from, and why do you choose them? Well, what do you mention about? Because if you try to relate Category 7, as you mentioned, it is like a cyclone, a big cyclone around the world. So, what themes do you explore on the lyrics on this album?
I think that John is a real cerebral guy. He's really smart. He wants to be thought provoking uh, in his lyrics. He wants to tell a story in some sense, but he also wants to deliver maybe a message for people to interpret themselves. Um, I don't want to get too much into his lyrics because I don't know. I know that he likes to say that his lyrics are a social commentary. He wants, people to take a look at, you know, society in that sense. And so he's like telling stories about, society.
Mhm. Okay, okay. So you are a guitarist with a lot of experience, as you mentioned, with violins, with Machine Head. You also were been releasing albums since the 80s. So,
Mhm.
but you are releasing this new album. So how do you usually choose the singles for a new album, considering that your sound in this album is very diverse, and it would be difficult to have one song that encompasses all music you put in each album? So how do you figure out which song is the best one to say, hey, this song capture whole textures of this new one?
I think that Exhausted is a song that I have been attached to since I heard John sing it. So I felt that that was one song that needed to be a single. Other than that, I think that any other than Eder Stormond, the 8-minute instrumental, that's not a single. But any of the other songs, the record, we kind of left it up to the label. Say, let's see what the label comes back with, what they feel is good for the videos. We did 5 videos,
Mhm.
And I was going to be okay with any of them because as long as Exhausted was one of them, then the rest could be, you know, any of the songs, Waver at the Breaking Point, you know, if I, White Flags and Bayonets, any of those tunes could carry themselves as a single. So whatever they felt would have been best, I needed to leave it from outside the box perspective, you know, let you guys decide what would be best because I'm partial to them all. I think that they all would be singles.
Okay, okay. So, well, talking about now the promotion of this new album. So, what kind of plans do you have for this category 7? How perhaps you will you present gigs, tours, or you are presenting festivals? Who knows? For the first time, this band will come to Latin America. Who knows? What kind of plans do you have? Or perhaps you already recorded a new album. Who knows?
No sign of a record yet. This one comes out in 3 weeks from today, and we are looking for a window. You know, I'm in Carrie's band too, and that's got some stuff set up. So it's we're looking for a window so we can get Category 7 out there and start playing some shows and kind of fit stuff in between. So it's a tricky process. I don't envy my manager's task at hand to try to get us out there. But we want to get out everywhere. We want to get down to Latin America. We want to get down to, you know, we want to get over to Europe. We want to do the States. We want to do it all.
Okay. Well, as I mentioned in the first question, talking about other kind of topics, more especially in metal, being a band with a varied sound, how do you see the issue of labels? Fans and the media always try to label bands and start them playing words like perhaps symphonic, groove, black, death, or you are playing with a lot of groove, a lot of thrash, and the people and the media and the fans tries to label category 7 is a thrash, groove, heavy metal because John plays heavy metal since the beginning. So for you, how do you describe your song yourselves?
It's hard, you know, with all the labels, there are elements to everything. Um, I think that we're a rock metal band. I mean, we're a metal band. There's blast beats for fuck's sakes, and you know, there's a lot of metal. We're just a metal rock band, I guess. I think that the melodies and the hooks and the choruses make us more. There are some rock beats, um, but yeah, I don't think we're a thrash band, but I think there's some groove. I think there's some rock. I think there's some metal elements in there. So kind of a hybrid of it all.
Well, yeah. On the other hand, I imagine you must also mention sometimes that your sound is reminiscent of certain bands that may have inspired you. Also, you all on this band you have a lot of bands playing their own sound because you play in a lot of bands. John same, Mac so Mike the same. So have you ever told that you sound like that you sound like a certain band when you really don't?
Yeah, I don't think that there's. Have we been called? I mean, we've been called in the early stages Pantera X, like Racer X meets Pantera, and man, I don't think that that anything that I've heard us be attributed to or does influences are from everywhere. You know, influenced by Slayer, influenced by Pantera, by Metallica, by AC/DC though, you know, and there's, you know, some Seven Dust and some Alter Bridge in there too. So it's um I think that all our influences kind of show through this.
Mm. Okay, but talking about as you mentioned about the promotion of this new album, one thing that for me is will be a little complicated is that you play in a lot of bands. You play with Kerry King. Also, John has Albert Saints. Mike has now a lot of projects playing. The drummer and the bass is the same. So how
Yeah.
you figure out to play live when all the members of this band are completely busy playing, as you mentioned, you're playing a tribute band, so completely busy playing in another band. How you figure out to play this?
It's it's getting figured out right now. We're trying to figure it out. We're trying to. You know, we have an incredible record. The product is great. The dudes are great. We just need to find that spot, and we will. We'll find the spot.
Mhm. Okay. Switching gears, there is a lot of talk these days about the advancements of artificial intelligence and how fast it has advancement in is being used in arts, both for composing music and graphic arts. How do you see this from your perspective? And do you think in the future you will use to compose it, design a cover or video, or who knows, for example?
Yeah, that's a hard one, you know. Music wise, I don't see me using it for music, and I think that, you know, music should be a natural, genuine birth to something. I mean, yeah, you can have your outside influences, but those are all part of you and part of coming through you, not going, oh, I'm just going to click up this and bring up this for, I need a blah, blah, blah. So music wise, for art, that's a tricky one for me. Um, you know, I think anything artificial like that, as far as you're creating something, I think it's kind of cheating. Uh, I'm not against it because it happens all the time. I mean, bands rip off other bands all the time, and people use other bits of stuff but for me, I see that as a shortcut a little bit. So I don't think that, you know, I'd be into using it.
Okay. Okay, we are closing to finish this interview, Phil, and talking about a topic that changed the perspective of understanding of metal worldwide is the social networks or the social media in general. As you know
Mhm.
today, thanks to this media, metal became more understandable and comprehensible, and even lost that sense of impact, fear, or mystery that it had during the 70s, 80s, and 90s. I remember very well because I came from the 80s, so I'm 44. I remember very well about a lot of stories about the bands. You remember one thing when you talk about Brujeria, and you believe that they were narco-satanic people. You believe that. I believe that. As a fan, I believe that. So, or talking about King Diamond, was thinking that he lived in the castle with monsters, vampires, this kind of stuff. Or Brooks Dickinson writing lyrics to only bother conservative people. That's or Twisted Sister the same. So or ideas of satanist people by mayhem that they just burning churches, this kind of stuff, etc., etc. A lot of mystery into the metal and curiosity and obviously fear. Now there is no mystery or curiosity that people gave you on a general level. For you, what is your point of view about this move away from the fear, mystery of curiosity that the metal had before, and now everything is more comprehensible?
Yeah, it's hard because nothing is uncovered anymore. Everybody knows, you know, mostly about. I remember having to get, you know, you're from the 80s, so you remember Circus Magazine, you remember Hit Parader magazine, and you remember having to go even to see a picture of Judas Priest. You know, you're like, whoa, look at the Iron Maiden, you know, before Bruce or whatever. It's just like, holy crap, you know, you don't get that information from these bands or what they're playing live or hearing different stuff was all bootleg little cassettes and stuff like that. So I think that it has taken that, you know, all the stories that you hear about, Exodus here and Paul Bailoff killing posers, and so it's all this urban myth that has been kind of lifted, and everybody has these windows to everybody's shows, and you see your show, you're on Instagram Live watching somebody play. You know, there's no no mystery, like you said, anymore. So I, being 57, you know, I was there in the 70s going to shows and not having that convenience. So I prefer the old days for sure. I prefer the old days of listening to cassettes and having to learn a part and stop or lift up the needle on the record and bring it back and having to learn that part that way. And I was fortunate enough to be brought up in the Bay Area and to see this incredible thrash movement start here, seeing Metallica when they were starting out, Exodus when they're starting out, all these bands, you know, Megadeth and, you know, Slayer coming up here for the first time is, you know, feel really privileged to be able to been a part of that scene.
Hmm? Okay, okay. In one of the last questions for this interview, Phil, as you were in bands like Machine Head and Violence, where you had your point of view as a friend, as a buddy on these bands while you were in them. So, but now you are away from these bands' productions, far away from these compositions, or from writing process and more details. So, how do you see the musical path of journey of both bands since your departure?
Um, well, Violence has they've done a bunch of shows, or they're traveling all over the place, playing places where Violence hadn't been before. So there's a big resurgence in the name and keeping that name alive, which is really cool. I don't think they've written anything since I've left. They probably will. Machine Head, man, it's been almost 6 years. And so I heard the last record. Um, and it's there's songs that I like, and uh, um, you know, Rob's a great musician and songwriter, and there's just like he's gonna like some stuff here. You can't get that 100% approval rating. So yeah, they've done some stuff that I like.
Hmm. Well, Phil, we come to the sad moments of this interview. I hope you enjoyed this interview as I did, and thank you very much for your time. This new album, Category 7, is a tremendous album from the band.
Oh, thank
Maybe you have something to add to your Latin fans and obviously Metallarium followers.
Yeah, always, Latin America is a special place. They love their music. They're they they love their music, and they're so passionate about it down there. And I know that it's sometimes a lot of bands can't get down there. So I know that Mike Orlando has a huge Latin America uh, contact and a connection down there. So I feel that Category 7 is going to get down there. I know we're going to get down there and play. So I'm excited to play for the fans down there. They've always treated me super respectful and supported me down there too. So can't wait to get down there and rock out some Category 7.